All right, so he's made gains in Iowa. He's been leading for some time in New Hampshire. What's the next state? Well, it's South Carolina. Joining us, Larry Cohen, former president of Communication Workers of America, also the head of Democracy Initiative. The chairman there has spent some time in South Carolina and is a straight shooter and a straight talker, no question about it. Larry, good to have you with us.
My pleasure.
What do you hear in South Carolina? What do you make of the most recent polling?
Well, it's interesting. So in the last week, I spent 4 days in Iowa and 2 days in South Carolina, and I hear exactly the same things. This is a new populism. It's independence among voters. It's working people of all types, whether they're union or not, saying enough is enough, and that they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that there's no change among these traditional candidates, and it's not working. It's not working for their kids when they go to college and amass enormous debt, which is getting worse every year. It's not working for working people, particularly those who have no union. They're defenseless. They don't even know what the conditions are at work. They change all the time at will. And people are fed up. They're fed up with the trade deals, as you've talked about. They're fed up with even the notion of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and competing with 50-cent-an-hour wages in Vietnam and having Democrats go along with it. And the other major candidate, Hillary Clinton, silent on it. They don't want silence. They want commitment. They want people who reflect our values, not this notion that, well, that's the best you can get. We're fed up with what's the best we can get. We're ready to fight for our values and our view.
Bernie Sanders was asked about the differences between he and Hillary Clinton.
But I will tell you the differences between the secretary and myself. I voted against the war in Iraq. I believe over a period of years we should raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. I believe we should reestablish Glass-Steagall to start breaking up these large financial institutions on Wall Street. I am very opposed to our current trade policies and helping to lead the effort against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The Secretary has not made a decision on that. I am strongly against the Keystone Pipeline because I think we need to radically transform our energy system. Secretary has not made a statement on that as well.
Well, that's a litany of things, and he's spot on. And when he talks about Hillary not coming clean on trade or the oil pipeline, he's exactly correct. And Hillary has not said that she would break up the big banks. So are these differences connecting with people who are paying attention, Larry, from what you say?
Absolutely. You know, talking to dock workers in Charleston, they absolutely get it. Largely African-American, and they are still in the middle class because of their union. But they absolutely get the connection to Bernie and what their values are and where they want this country to go, and they are right with him. This notion that his support is all white is ridiculous. I've been on marches in Raleigh 10 days ago, South Carolina the last 2 days, and even in Iowa with Latinos and Native Americans. This is, again, part of the corporate media trying to drive wedges instead of looking for what unites working Americans, regardless of the color of our skin or our background or our faith or whatever. We're united by these values. And I see these values working across the South, when we organize. And today he'll be, last night he spoke in Atlanta. A great CWA leader, he's African-American, introduced them, and it was a mixed turnout there. Today he's doing 3 meetings in South Carolina, tomorrow night in Greensboro. The South is going to light up here with this populist message that can unite this country. And that's why I'm committed to working so hard as a volunteer like you.
So it seems absolutely. So it seems like that there's almost a campaign strategy against Sanders to make people believe that he's not connecting with African Americans, that he's not connecting with the Latino community, and they throw it out that, well, he's from a white state of Vermont and has not had any diversity. I mean, it seems like that's one of the strong things that's being thrown at Bernie right now. But if you look at his record and you listen to what he's saying and he's paying attention to where he wants to take the country, it's a much different story.
It's a totally different story. I think it's absolutely deliberate. And again, what is true is that Secretary Clinton has the old guard, whether they're black or white, and particularly the old guard that's elected, the traditionalists. And in many cases, she and her husband, the former president, did walk with them when they were up for election. They're calling in their chips. But in terms of the base of an American electorate, I see no difference. And I've talked to thousands of people on this campaign myself already, one-on-one, and even more in big groups. I see no difference between black, white, Latino, and how they react to this message.
And you see a path to the finish line that is positive for Bernie Sanders. Do you believe? Yeah,
absolutely. I think it does. Yeah, sorry.
Well, do you believe he could defeat Hillary Clinton in the long run?
Yeah, I do. I think it starts with Iowa and New Hampshire, and that's why there's such an emphasis there. And, I met amazing staffers. I was in eastern Iowa, 8 stops, 500 miles last weekend. And I think it goes to New Hampshire, where, he does have a base because of the proximity to Vermont. But then the Southern strategy that we're unrolling now is going to be key. And it's going to be, African-American students at HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. It's going to be, Dockers in Charleston. It's going to be CWAers across the South. And it's going to be multiracial. And, whether the media covers it or not, that's the reality of it. It's working Americans saying we are fed up and we're going to fight back.
I want to go back to Bernie Sanders on the ground with those workers in Iowa about a week ago. He went on the picket line. Now, here's the difference. And I'm not making this up because I didn't say it. President Obama did. During his campaign, President Obama said that he would walk that picket line with you workers and stand with you. That never happened. Now, that's a fact. He said it, I didn't. Obama's never walked a picket line, not in his presidency or in his candidacy. Bernie Sanders, on short notice, knew that this was unfolding and felt compelled and went there and did it. And it was like the second largest crowd that Iowa has seen in this election cycle. Larry, what impact does that have, if any? Your thoughts?
Huge impact. I was in Cedar Rapids, not with Bernie Friday night, but on Saturday and on Monday. Huge. Everybody there knows he was at Ingredion, which the greed part should be emphasized in the name of that company, and that he went there, and the bakery workers across the country, BCTG&M, not just bakery, are very well aware of what he's done. And union people in South Carolina, where I was yesterday at the AFL-CIO in Georgetown, South Carolina, well aware that, as reported in the media, the last candidate during a presidential campaign to walk on a picket line was Bobby Kennedy in 1968. Now, frankly, that's a disgrace about what the Democratic Party has become. And, I've been a quote, leader of that party. So I didn't realize that myself. Nobody's done that.
I want to emphasize this. The last time a candidate went on a picket line was 1968. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what was reported widely in the media. I honestly didn't research all of that. I know that President Obama, as you just said, talked about it, didn't do it.
Yeah.
But that's the way the media has reported this, starting in Cedar Rapids, but across the country. Yeah, that's the way it's reported, and it's what you said. We need to be walking, not talking. It's not everybody talks during campaign, but where do they walk? And where have they walked before? And Bernie, we had a huge strike, 131 days, through 100 inches of snow this past winter. The electrical workers in the CWA at a company called Fairpoint. Bernie was not only out there, he took on the company CEO repeatedly on our side, made a huge difference in settling that strike. He walks the walk all the time. Every union, every community organization, whether it's fighting foreclosures or whatever it is, fighting for our health care, that's what he is, and that's why people are responding. It's not talk. It's what his life's been about.
Larry Cohen, great to visit. Great to have you with us. Thanks so much. We'll do it again. Keep up the fight. Speaking right to the truth of the matter here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
Thank you.